welcome, guys. Sorry, technical difficulties. Bunch of computer problems, but welcome to episode 3 of FGC Talk, our weekly show dedicated to the wonderful fighting game community. I'm one of your hosts, Jard, with my 4 other co-hosts and panelists, Nick, Mike,
hey,
Javier, aka Cynistar, and
what's up?
XSK Samurai, Mikey, one of the top Ryu players in the country.
Hello.
Okay, so this week's episode, we have a couple of news things we want to talk about. Then we're really going to dive into more matchup talk. We talked about last week about matchups and like bad matchups, how to deal with them. We're going to talk about how to go about choosing a main character, like you in whatever game, and then we got some other things to go over. So let's kind of get started with some news for the week. Just one of the bigger things that came out, and it actually happened today, right? The news broke today that Daigo didn't qualify for Capcom Cup in December.
Right.
So he's, as of right now, Daigo is not going to be playing at Capcom Cup. How do you guys feel about arguably the face of Street Fighter not participating in the biggest Capcom Throne tournament, so to speak, or exhibition, if you want to call it? Like, are you guys even not interested in watching it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, Daigo is still going to DreamHack and I believe in other events. And
Topanga League.
In the post, yeah, Topanga League. In the post, it says he can make much more money going to those two rather than going to Capcom Cup anyway.
And it's all about the money for guys like him.
That's a very, very good point because
I didn't think about the money part of it. I just thought of like the Capcom Cup.
Daigo does.
Like it never crossed my mind because it seemed like Capcom Cup was like this thing that was really pushed, kind of like the 25th anniversary. Mm-hmm. That it was more like a prestigious thing than for the money. So that's why it was just. It always seemed odd to me that he wasn't there. But I guess in terms of money, I guess you are right that it would be more beneficial for him to go to this other tournament.
You have to think of it like he's a tennis player. Mm-hmm. He's spending money to get to places, and he's using his money whatever way to get to those events, and he has to think of the best way to make a living. So.
Yeah, because what's the grand prize at Capcom Cup?
I have it in front of me. It's the prize for Capcom Cup Finals is $10,000 US. Topanga League, the prize is $14,752 estimated in US dollars, and DreamHack is $15,421.
Okay, but that $10,000, is that just for AE or is that split amongst the games?
This is for Street Fighter. This is this is what I'm seeing on Event Hubs right now, because that's where I got this article.
So how much? First place is getting 10 Gs.
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
That can't be it. I want to say that the prize pot is that the total has got to be for top 8, but like I said, I'm only seeing this.
It might be split between the top 3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because I mean, top 8 is everyone that's going.
Yeah.
Top 8.
Yeah, I know, right? But I mean, it's just like if without having him there, like, is it gonna be that big of a? I don't know. Like, are people like not gonna be like wanting to tune in as much because he is quote unquote like the face of Street Fighter in a sense, right? Like when you think of Street Fighter, like most of the time you think of Daigo. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that he didn't qualify. So anyways.
Yeah, I got friends that don't even play the game and stuff. That they're just everyone knows Daigo.
Yeah, he's just a household.
Well, he's definitely the face of Street Fighter for a lot of people. Just because he won't be there doesn't mean people aren't going to tune in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's still gonna watch. It might feel like something's missing, but it's still gonna be a hot event. It's still gonna be great.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a good event.
I'm looking at the payout. It's $6,000 for first place, 3 for second, and 1 for third.
Ah.
And to Daigo, that's like chump change at this point in career.
And that's for AE. For the other games, for Marvel and Cross Tekken, it's $3,000 for first, $1,500 for second, and $500 for third.
Okay,
Okay.
that's perfect.
And
Well, here's the thing. There's also still a lot of other players that are very, very good as well that are going to be there.
Yeah, it'll be a fun event to watch. I mean, you got Haitani there, and a few other really good players. I'm gonna be rooting for Infiltration and Haitani.
Infiltration will infiltrate that ass, as always.
Yeah. He's got
Has
to
it
be.
been decided
he's gotta
that
be-
infiltration win for sure?
What was that?
I said it's infiltration for sure already.
Yeah.
Well, he's not in it for sure. I think he has to play the
Round robin.
he has to play the round robin first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Haitani is in for sure.
Sion.
Yeah, he's in there. Chris G.
Chris G is in it. Yes.
Chris G, really?
He won
Yeah,
the fall
because he
classic.
won.
The fall classic.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a qualifier,
So
and a few others. So it'll still be a fun event to watch.
yeah, like I am actually still planning on attending because it's only a few hours away. So it's just like if some of us from here are probably just gonna go and watch the matches because it's still gonna be good regardless. But I would love to see Daigo there because he's Daigo.
Yeah,
Is Capcom
you
Cup
want,
again?
You want Daigo there. Capcom Cup is in December. I don't know the exact dates, but it is in December in San Francisco, I believe. So
And they haven't finalized the Marvel
this-
guys yet, right?
no. I don't know how they're doing that, to be honest. Like, because I remember
Because
they
last I remember there was that vote, the fan vote.
yeah, and I don't know what they're doing. I haven't been really following it that much, but I'll have
like
to
a write-in vote.
yeah, I'll have to look that up. I hope Nemo makes it. I want Nemo in there.
Yeah, I voted for Nemo, Justin, and Yipes.
Yeah,
No, not Yipes. I voted for Cane Blue River.
that's not bad. I definitely want to
Just 'cause,
see.
I like watching that guy play.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Nemo.
I voted for
there, though.
Senior Taxi.
The Chris
Oh yeah,
G
Nemo.
trailer.
I really hope that.
Yeah. So okay, so we'll move on to just another like tidbit that I just thought that was interesting. We all know that next gen consoles are coming out in literally less than 2 weeks. I'll be having in my hand my PlayStation 4.
I literally just paid off mine today.
Nice.
Nice.
And I picked up Killzone Shadowfall, and now I'm gonna stare at it for 2 weeks.
I've been staring at it for like 5 days already. So yeah, it's tough.
Ooh, aren't you special?
Yeah. But they did announce. Sony did say that because people were concerned with like the next gen fighting games. Will we be able to use like the current gen arcade sticks? And Sony came out and said that they can use the arcades, the PS3 arcade sticks for the PS4, but it's up to the PlayStation 4 developers' discretion if they're going to allow that. I just thought it was interesting because if they don't allow it and they make you buy sticks, like, dude, that's in like we start going and moving into next gen, and we're talking like a year or two from now. That's really gonna hurt because the fighting game community is not exactly the richest community out there.
I think that Sony announcing that is like a really, really good thing. I don't know if it's possible on Xbox or whatever. I don't know the tech behind any of that, but allowing that is really smart because I think even for tournament organizers as well and players that like I know a lot of people are going with PS4 next gen, but it just makes things a lot easier that the players won't have to drop another $200 on a stick just to play when they could just use whatever they already have. And it just seems like tournaments, if that were to be true, that tournaments would favor the PS4 more as well, because that's what the players would be. They have the sticks, they have the dual modded sticks or the TEs, whatever, and if they could just plug and play and they don't have to worry about it. Whereas with Xbox One, you would have to drop $200 on that new
Yeah,
TE too.
the Mad Catz
Yeah.
Killer Instinct stick is $200. Yeah. So if you
I mean-
buy
Damn.
yeah, it's
I mean, chances are, if you go into PS4 next gen, maybe Injustice might be played on PS4. I don't know, but if it is, it's good. It'll probably be the superior version to both the 360 and the PS3 version.
we'll
One
see.
could assume.
We'll assume.
I think it would just be that much easier for people to play that version too, because it's just like plug and play. You don't have to worry about buying a new stick.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Yeah,
because
I honestly
I don't think any of us want to drop another couple $100 on a new stick.
I don't. At least not now.
I mean, you look at Xbox One. Okay, so Xbox One comes out in a couple weeks. Same with the PlayStation 4. Xbox One costs $500. Now, if you're buying the Xbox One for Killer Instinct only, which is the only like truly next gen fighter that's coming out right now. Okay, so you buy that, you buy the Xbox One for $500, and then you have to buy a new stick for that's $700 you're spending for one game. Like, not a lot of people are gonna do that just to play one game. So it's like it's gonna benefit them more. It's gonna benefit a lot of people more to be able to use the sticks that they can already use. Obviously, though, like newer players, like new people for the FGC are gonna buy that stick. You know, buy the new, buy
Really?
the newest one out there. Yeah. So I mean, but you know, it's gonna definitely be a lot more helpful for the community and for tournament organizers as well, too. So there was just a little tidbit that I wanted to throw in there because I thought that was interesting when I read that this week. Okay, so the next topic that we're gonna kind of go over is we have a match that was sent into this. Mike actually brought this to me the other day. So I don't know, Mike. Do you want to kind of just like introduce? Do you know who? Like, is this
sure.
like one of your buddies?
Yeah, it's one of my buddies from here in Korea. This was also for last week we looked at a video from Capcom Cup from here. This week too, our video is from my buddy Jason, who plays as Epoch from Capcom Cup 2 weeks ago. It says he's playing Ryu, and I forgot who he's playing, but the other guy is a Yoon player. And in this matchup, after the match, I remember he said, you know, he didn't know what he was supposed to do in the matchup, where he's supposed to be playing or how he's supposed to play it. So maybe we could take a look at this matchup, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll go round by round, and we'll talk it through.
Yeah, so we'll go round by round. And after each round, we're gonna stop and then let Cynistar, XSK, or anybody else that has like good input, just like throw it out there. And if you guys in the chat have any questions at all, please just go ahead and throw that out there. This is like one of the main reasons for the show. We take a bunch of questions. We want to help out the community and stuff. So if you got questions and stuff, feel free to throw them out. So let's go.
All right. So this is the
first
training room.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Marvelous Customs at marvelouscustoms.com.
Shameless.
Okay.
He was just right next to it, but we still couldn't know where to find the ferry.
Oh, okay. Nice movement for this Ryu, though. I don't think it's just a random
round one.
notification.
Hey, this is real. He came here for the qualifier.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That should have been punished.
That was a red block.
That's a strong one, too. Yeah, popped him up. Nice. Gonna go.
So maybe Mikey should take this first since he plays kind of both of these characters.
Using the Kazunoko Red Yun. Oh, nice. This guy's got reactions. This guy's on a vacation.
This live right here.
It's real.
Oh, I like that. Using the jab just in case he misses.
Kupa is really fast though. I feel like.
For the most part, it seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Got the APM.
AP? No, I mean.
Okay.
Just a couple missed opportunities.
Okay. So the first round just ended. Okay. So what? Mikey, I'll let you start first because obviously you play Ryu, so you're familiar with this matchup. So what? Is there anything that's? I mean, I know it's only one round, but is there anything that kind of like stood out to you first?
Yeah, he did a really good job in doing anti-airs on the dive kicks, but the problem with that is, as you guys can see, it traded twice, and then one time he went for it and it completely whiffed. A very high-level player like, for example, Kazunoko, would bait those out and punish him a lot bigger than, say, DB Koopa did.
Right.
And a better and more safer option. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to DP it or try to react to it. It's so early in the match. If you give them the impression that you're trying to react with DPs on their dive kicks, especially Yuns, they will try to bait it out later on. And as you can see, it did happen later on in the match. And so he was using stand short and stand jab a little. He didn't use stand jab too much, but stand short was actually a good option as well. But stand jab is actually really good. Even a far fierce is actually really good against Yun.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really throwing too many fireballs. He wasn't sticking any bad normals, so he's doing fine.
So he had a good round one.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I would just add that, like how Mikey said, the gun started to bait those DPs as anti-airs. Like what he could do instead is actually just do like jump forward roundhouse. That works pretty good to hit you out of his neutral jumps.
Jump back jabs, jump back medium kicks.
Yeah.
The only thing he needs to keep in mind is if he does jump backs attacks, he will corner himself a lot faster. So the way he was standing was fine. You don't want to stand too far, and you don't want to stand too close to Yun. Just right where he wants to dive kick and right where he'll jump with the medium kick.
Okay, so this leads me into a thing that he wanted to know. He actually asked me, where should he ideally play the match? Should he be playing keep away, or should he be playing within his low forward range? He says because he sees other players playing at different ranges, and he notices Infiltration will play it with low forward range, and other players might play it as like a more keep away type of range.
The way Daigo and Infiltration, especially Daigo, he knows the match very, very well. Standing at the low forward range is similar to standing where you would fight against Rufus. If he neutral jumps, you can anti-air him. If he neutral jumps, and you can throw a fireball before he lands. And if he die kicks, you can react to it with a DP or a jab. So any of those spots where you stand at a sort of low forward range, maybe a sweep range, would be fine, because it gives you an advantage on the ground and in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to be sticking out low forward constantly at that range, because he can just die kick on you.
Okay.
So that's where the thing where I remember Kazunoko was telling me I was winning the match, and then I started sticking out normals at the spot where I was standing, which was a good spot, and then I lost, which I got cornered and I died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually a good point, because I think that's exactly what's going to happen in like a few rounds from now. He's going to get hit a lot because of those low forwards.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go into round 2. Let's
Okay.
see what happens.
All right, I'm gonna start round 2.
I thought Uni's gonna DP.
Oh, okay,
but that
okay.
was-
I thought you
that
called
was
it.
the options like commentary, It works anyway.
Yeah, but you didn't say up kicks, you said DP.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
worked even better. Nice block. Oh, there's a DP. You called it.
That was good.
What? He's styling on him.
Is it
Yeah.
started already?
Middle of a combo. You'll reset it. Should be stunned after this. Yeah,
Wait
should
for
have
Jar
gone
to
into the
pull it
Gen
up
Agent.
in a second.
Gonna wait for him to get up.
I'm watching it over here on
Wasting a little
my own.
time. Nice reset.
watching it
Force the
live.
reset.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it was lagging a little bit, guys. Sorry.
Okay, okay, let's rewind it a bit.
Yeah, let me rewind the match really quick. Sorry, it was kind of like
There's a cross up.
it was kind of lagging it up a little bit, so I was trying to fix that.
Wasting a DP.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it worked even better.
Okay, so here we go.
Run it back.
Okay,
Nice
so this is
block.
round
There's a DP.
2.
Called it.
Okay, round 2. Here we
That
go.
was good.
What?
the
He's
DD
styling on him.
special.
Yeah. In the middle of a combo, he'll reset it. Should be stunned after this. Yeah, shouldn't have gone into the Gen
Give us a
Agent.
counter hit.
He's gonna wait for him to get up.
I guess he can't react to it.
Wasting a little time. Nice reset. Yeah, force the reset.
Oh, what was that? That was a
Cross
medium,
kick.
medium
Can
shooter.
that juggle?
Yeah, it's a medium shooter. It's like he juggles.
I love
and
that
it's
cross-up
like-
shoulder thing.
It's almost impossible to see though.
So fun to watch.
It doesn't feel too good when it happens
nice.
to you, though.
And this is the punish at the end.
That's what she said.
Kazunoko
That's
punch.
special.
Okay.
Oh, jump back. Oh, jump back short.
5 frames.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's faster than the usual.
All right, and that's
And
round
that-
2.
And that ends the first game. So, that
Ian
ends
wins 2-0.
that ends the first game. So okay, so the second round then. What is there in that second round that well, first I guess let's start off. What did he do well? Or did he do anything well?
Obviously, DB Koopa adapted really well after the first round. He decided to say, okay, this guy's going to take the risk of doing DPs, and he got punished at least twice.
Okay.
And that created the dizzy. He got cornered, he got resetted after that, and then it's so hard to come back after that. He had a full stock, but he just didn't manage that well. He went for a DP, which is fine at the end, but then he didn't recognize that Yun still has a 3-frame jab, and you doing a DP FEDC forward is, I forget what it was, minus something. It's still minus, and minus 2, and he just started doing jabs and he got hit. So recognizing that after you're pretty much down a ton of life and you want to go for a comeback, DB Cooper recognized that and just blocked, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Javier?
Yeah, I'll agree with Mikey. Like the beginning of the round, he just pretty much got like played. He got dominated. But then like at the very end, after Yun used his super, he had a potential to make a comeback because he had full super and full ultra meter. And he started to punish, but I think he messed up his inputs and kind of messed it up. But even if he hit it, it looked like he was trying to FADC into a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably shouldn't have spent 2 bars just to combo into a sweep. Like he probably should have done like strong sweep and still had full meter, full super to do something else after that.
And there's a setup after that too as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, so he could have saved all of his resources and had a knockdown, and he could have had another mix-up.
Yes, for those of you guys that know, strong sweep on certain characters and jump in is unblockable on certain characters, and also strong sweep into a Tatsu is unblockable on some characters too. So, and then one thing that he didn't recognize was he obviously Yan had super already, and that jump in created the whole situation. He didn't really need to jump in. He got a successful jump in.
Yeah.
He put himself in a close range where Yan could just rush him down and kill him, and especially get into the corner, which is the worst idea. So he gave DB Cooper the advantage when he didn't have too much meter, did he, in the very beginning, but DB Cooper did.
Yeah.
So it would have been better to stay away, bait a meter, try to get him to do something on his terms, but he didn't get a chance.
Okay. So let's go into game 2.
Okay. We are gonna. All right. So let me pull up game 2. All right.
Better than the
There's some
normal.
people saying
Two
about
plays
the
up
Balrog
1-0.
jab too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people say Balrog's jab is 2.5 frames.
Is there such thing as 2.5?
But it just seems Balrog's jab looks faster than, you know.
I mean, so far it looks like
treatment
overall
jabs.
Yeah.
his positioning's pretty good.
But
He's
it's
just
not.
making
It's still
some bad decisions here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe they just round up.
No DP from Koopa. That's a nice DP.
Get off me. Gonna get a
mix
toss-up
up there.
situation here.
Toss up.
Yep, double jump. No, lands in the front.
Unless he's doing the jump back
think
jab,
also
or the
you
jump
can
back short, it
shoot.
looks like. So he's looking to hit
uppercuts,
something.
though.
Nice
He's
DP.
a turbo player maybe.
Right there, he still got a low forward.
Yeah, Ryu's standing light kick is really good as an anti-dive kick. Compared to Akuma's, I don't think it's as good, even though it looks the
Nice
same.
stand short.
Ryu has more active frame.
Oh, okay, so it sticks the
Do another
sticks
left
out
forward
there.
right there.
Takes longer.
Like when you're showing
Puts him into the ultra in the
your
corner.
Kuma socks.
Oh, that's big.
He's standing straight short.
Yeah, see, he's winning already.
EXDP.
He doesn't need to stick anything out.
Normal one.
That's the same thing that I did against Kasamoko and I lost because of that. And that was when Ryu had his really bad low forward.
Okay.
And the
And
DP.
there he goes again. He did an EXDP into FADC. I think he both hits. That's even more minus. He wasted 3 meters and he died. So that was bad.
And he did have a pretty big life lead too going into that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do anything in the corner. Best thing he could do, especially when you're up a life like that, stand your ground, but make sure to just block or don't throw any fireballs, or just play defensively for the time being, and make him mess up and not not letting you give him the win. And he pretty much gave him the win there.
Because after you said it, I noticed that all those times that he got hit, it was because he was sticking out a low forward.
Yeah.
And,
One low forward,
so,
to
and
be
each,
exact.
and each of those led into that big combo that caused him
That's
to
what-
put him in that situation.
That's what all young players want. For you to low forward, and they dive kick on it. Same thing with Rufus. They want you to low forward.
They want it. They need it.
So Mikey, so at that range, should he be throwing out like maybe a standing jab or a crouching strong instead?
He can do caution strong. It's okay, but he can still get dive kicked on.
Yeah.
It's probably better to stand up so that, or just crouch so that when for example, if he does a dive kick, right, he's in a crouching position to do jabs. But if he's standing, the dive kick will hit higher on, I think above the waist or above the shoulder, and he can do a crouching jab to punish it or a standing jab to punish it,
Oh, that's true.
or,
Yeah.
even, or just a DP about DP.
So if he notices Yan is like neutral jumping to try to bait that out, he can maybe take a step forward. So
Step-
yeah, so if he dive kicks, he has less advantage because he hits him higher on the body.
That's what I do sometimes, and you can even just walk forward and get hit by it, like in third strike, and then punish him for it.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, so are we ready for the last round then?
And we have one more round, yeah.
No reason, right?
Yeah, for the situation,
Spoilers.
there's no reason.
I've noticed some other Ryus, like Daigo, the random
There you go, last
shoulders.
He didn't react to it, I'm pretty sure.
They'll do standing on,
Ooh, shoulder.
they'll knock down Yun, and then they'll put standing fierce and then Hadouken. Have you seen that? I think it
yeah.
trades with the up kick, maybe?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
back
yeah,
fierce?
yeah, yeah. So if it is the heavy up kick, but
Yeah.
not for the EX one though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they stopped doing it.
Focus.
So heavy up
Yeah.
kick actually doesn't have that good invulnerability.
He's still doing it.
With a lot of moves. Oh, nice. The Koopa special, Genejin special.
There you go. He got.
There it is again, that low forward.
Oh, that fourth
Hit the
bomb.
super.
Ooh.
That's all she wrote.
I think that's the heaviest punish,
Yeah,
right?
you should-
Low, heavy punch into up kicks.
Okay.
Quick and
That was
combo.
pretty quick.
Very convincing.
That last match was a lot faster than all the other ones.
Yeah, well,
And,
sorry, go ahead.
and he had super, and the Ryu player didn't have any meter.
Yeah.
So in that position, he has to earn his meter. Throwing fireballs wouldn't be a safe idea. Just being defensive and punishing anything that the young player does is the best idea that I can think of. You can play the fireball man game, but once you get knocked down, you get shoulder into the corner, and he has that much meter. It's very hard to come back, to get out of that position. It's not impossible. It's just you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. But at that point, it's hard to say that was DB Koopa's round for sure.
Yeah, not to mention, he was just kind of letting him, especially in that second match, in that final round, he was practically just letting him bully him, and just, like, you notice, he just kept getting put back in the corner over and over again, and he just wasn't really doing much about it.
And then that all goes down to conditioning. He never got any chance to condition him with normal, anti-airing him. He never got a chance to condition him up close, frame traps, making him backdash, nothing. He walked back the whole time. And
He wasn't walking the dog was walking him.
in a sense, yeah. He didn't, and that goes to matchup knowledge. He didn't know the matchup. He didn't know where he can stand his ground.
Okay.
Javier?
Yeah, I would just say like the reason why that last round was so quick is because by then DB Koopa had a good read. He knew that that Epoch didn't know the matchup and that he wanted to stick out low forwards and he wanted to walk himself back to the corner. So he just took advantage of everything he knew from then.
He never really threw any fireballs. He threw like a couple of fireballs, but
Yeah.
nothing to condition him.
Yeah, most of the fireballs were near the start of the round or in combos.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is okay.
Just curious, what is this matchup, Mikey? Is it 5-5, 6-4, like Ryu Yun's favor?
I want to say it's a tiny bit in Yun's favor, but I think it's mostly even. But
Okay.
It's mostly even because before I thought it would be in Yun's favor, but now that I watched Daigo versus Kazunoko, which I suggest, I think Epoch, right?
Yes.
I suggest him to watch because the way Daigo plays it is very intelligent. And so same thing with Infiltration. Infiltration is very good against stack of characters. If you can tell, he beats a lot of Ruthless players with his Ryu. He also beats, besides Canada Cup, he's beaten Kazunoko quite often, I think. Canada Cup was when Kazunoko played really, really well against him. And it wasn't because of the matchup, it was because he played Infiltration's habits. And that's how I won the story.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else to add on this match?
I'm just curious, is Epoch, is he in the chat by chance? Is he here?
No, he's not.
Okay. Okay.
But he will be watching the archive.
The archive. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's at work right now.
I would just add, or maybe just actually ask Mikey. So when you're playing against like dive kick characters like Yang, Rufus, or Yun, do you have to approach them with like different normals than you do with like other Shotos, or against characters you usually play on the ground as opposed to dive kicks?
Yeah, because on the ground you want to play footsies. Against those other characters you can play footsies, but then they have ways to get around footsies. So you have to be aware of them when they want to dive kick and when they want to get in the air. And that goes to switching to ground game and switching to anti-air. Switching to ground game, switching to anti-air. You have to be back and forth with that. And it takes a lot of focus away from your game. And as you can see, you can tell Epoch was at first focusing so much on anti-airing, and then all of a sudden he was in the corner. And then at one point he focused on ground game, and then he got cornered again. So you have to be aware of both situations.
Gotcha.
Both situations.
Okay. Well then.
So you guys covered it pretty well.
Yeah, you guys covered it pretty well, I would say. So then let's move on to the next portion of the show, which we like to call the training room. I guess that the match analysis kind of kicked off the training room. Basically, this is the segment of the show where we discuss more in-depth terminology, strategies, and things for not just like average to more advanced players, but also to players maybe they're just learning the game for the first time too, because everybody has to start somewhere. So one of the first things we want to discuss is how to go about choosing a main character, whether that is in Street Fighter, like any fighting game really, Street Fighter, Injustice, Blaze Blue. Marvel's a little different because you have a construction of three characters on a team, but we can actually kind of dive into that as well. But first off, before we go into this, I kind of want to just kind of get everybody's opinion on why they chose their certain characters that they play or maybe they're known for. So Mike, let's start with you first.
Okay. Well, in choosing a character, I look at the characters as the type of style they play. I go by what Justin Wong wrote a long time ago. There's 3 types of characters in Street Fighter. There's balanced characters, there's defensive characters, and there's offensive-based characters. For me, personally, I cannot play a defensive-based character. I just can't. Like Guile, Dhalsim, any of those characters, Sagat, I cannot play. But I favor offensive and rushdown and kind of just going nuts. So that's why I decided to play Cammy. Now I picked up Cammy before she was universally known as OP. Okay, so none of this tier whoring stuff. But
Sure, Mike. Sure.
but before then, most of you guys know I played Balrog. But in playing Balrog, it always felt like it never fit my style. Maybe it's because I think Balrog can be one of the. To me, I think Balrog can be a balanced character. You could play him really offensively, or you could play him very defensively. It depends on the character. But I still had trouble with it, and I just wasn't feeling it. But when I switched to Cammy, everything kind of just fell together. Because as you know, in Marvel, I also play Wolverine, who just is a character about getting in and going nuts. So I think in finding the correct character first, it's about finding the type of play style you want to play, and not just just playing a character because it looks cool or whatever. So that's why I ended up with Cammy, just because she's an offensive beast, and that's how I would say my playstyle is.
Okay, Nick, do you want to kind of dwell into your character? How do you went about choosing your characters for games?
Absolutely, I guess. For me, choosing a character in fighting games, it really just comes down to, I don't know, just who I really like, Sometimes it'll be because I like this character's tools, or, they suit my playstyle. But most of the time, it's just because I'm a personal fan of that character. Like, let's take Injustice, for example. I play Batman because I am a massive Batman fan. I have been my whole life. I even have the Batman symbol tattooed on my chest. Fun fact. So, for better... It's true. You want to see it?
No, I'd rather not.
Swear to me.
He also parades around the streets of Fresno as Batman on the weekends.
That has never been proven.
I could have sworn I could have just sworn I saw Batman last night, but that was just me. I could have sworn I saw
Everybody
Batman.
said Batman was at the Danger Room last night. I didn't see him anywhere. I got there I must have got there right after he left or something.
Wow.
But yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But
Keep going.
For better or for worse, I'm playing Batman, and he just happens to be awesome that way. And then another example would be in Marvel. I played Wesker because I just, loved Wesker. I loved him from the Resident Evil games. I also played Hawkeye because I just liked the way Hawkeye played. I seem to have a soft spot for archery characters, I guess, and a lot of stuff. But yeah, I just kind of play not what really everybody else dictates or thinks is good, but what I think is good for me, and then I'll just say it's up to me to make it work.
Okay. Javier, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. So, I guess mine is more traditional because I started playing, fighting games with Street Fighter 2, and I really liked playing Ryu back then. And so I guess like whenever I pick up a fighting game, I try to pick someone that's like the Ryu of that game. That they're kind of balanced, but they have really good zoning tools. So that's kind of the first thing I try to do when I pick up a fighting game. Find someone that can zone pretty well. Maybe they have like a DP type of move, or they have a projectiles. That's kind of what I like to do during a match. So those are the characters I kind of lean towards. So it's kind of basic, but that's pretty much how I choose my characters, based off of Ryu.
Okay.
Aki.
Well, before that, can I ask? I want to ask you a couple follow-up questions, I guess.
Okay, go for it.
Because for Javier, if people don't recognize your name, you're pretty well known in the California area as a top Akuma player. Yeah. So when you were playing Akuma, and then you all of a sudden just started playing Cody, what made you want to play Cody, in a sense? Because I don't know, is there ways, because you were talking about with Ryu and stuff when you first started out, is there something with Cody that you see that's really similar that maybe really interested you in him, or just something you wanted to take a chance on in training mode and you just happened to like him?
Well, I knew Cody was a pretty balanced character in terms of he has pretty good footsies, strong normals. He's really strong up close. But so I liked that he was balanced and all around. But I didn't know how good he was until I started watching videos of Momochi. Because that guy was just destroying people with frame traps and counter hits. And once I realized you could zone and then also be that much of a threat up close, that's kind of when I wanted to pick up Cody and try him.
Okay. That's good. Mikey, next.
Do you want to hear the origin of why I picked my characters, or and for all games?
Well,
how about both?
How about both? Yes. Both? How about both? Yes. And
okay.
Then sorry. Before you do that, if you guys also like Javier and stuff, if you guys have anything else to add to that, please go ahead. But Mikey, the floor is yours.
I think I picked Ken at the very beginning of Street Fighter 4 because I played Ken in Third Strike. That's when I first saw the Daigo video, and that really inspired me to just try to parry everything. and then when I played Street Fighter 4, I couldn't do that, and I was like, man, this game is really bad. And I went to playing Street Fighter Third Strike. And then I saw Daigo decided to play the game once again, and he picked Ryu. And I tried picking Ryu as well, but I couldn't play Ryu the way you're supposed to play Street Fighter. And I wanted, why can't I do this? Why can't I play this game, but I can play Third Strike fairly well? And then I had to understand ground game. I had to understand, throwing the fireballs. I had to understand footsies, and that took me to playing Street Fighter 2. And I picked Ryu there, and that's when I kind of started enjoying zoning. I started enjoying footsies. Seeing footsies in Street Fighter 2 was mind-boggling to me. It was amazing. And then pretty much from there, I took the Ryu aspect and took it to every single game. Because Ryu, I was very fortunate to take Ryu and pick him up for two reasons. One, because of Daigo. Not a lot of players have a lot of videos for them to watch. For example, able players, they don't have a lot of players that actually play it and have their matches on YouTube. Daigo, he's obviously he's a premier player. His videos are everywhere, and that helped me learn matchups and the character overall. So that was a good thing. And then also, Ryu taught me how to play the game correctly, but also it helped me with fundamentals and anything related to fighting games in general. So I can take my fundamentals from Street Fighter and learn more other games. So I was very lucky to pretty much knock out two birds with one stone.
Okay.
Okay, and Jard, how about you tell us how you go about selecting your character?
Well, I'll use Street Fighter for example. Street Fighter 4 for example. As you guys can look on the screen now, I have in training mode the character that I picked as my main character in Street Fighter 4, Rose. Now, when I first played Street Fighter 4, I told people this and they called me crazy. Now, I picked Cammy and Fei Long first. The reason I picked those two characters first was because I liked their character design and I thought they had cool moves. Now, when I started playing them more, I felt that they didn't really fit my playstyle because they were like Cammy's full rushdown, and like I feel like in Street Fighter 4 I can't play that way, or at the moment at that time I couldn't play that way. So I kind of ventured off into like I didn't really know like who to play, so I just kind of tried different characters in training mode, and I stumbled upon Rose. So in training mode I was just like messing around with her specials, so I saw like her fireball, her reflect here, her drill and stuff, just like in all her like normals and stuff. I thought she was really like she had really unique moves. I liked her character design, and the way that I saw matches early on matches, I felt like suited to my gameplay, because I felt like I could play kind of keep away and I could kind of play really a lame style in a sense, because and that kind of just like fit into my play style. So as more as I watched videos and stuff, and I kind of played the character, I fell in love playing this character, and you know it's to this day I still like this character, but I've been venturing off into other characters. Like I've been starting to play Cody more because I like Cody simply because I'll be honest, one of the reasons I picked Cody was, like Javier said, I watched Momochi play Cody and I watched Javier play Cody and I played as Cody. I've never been counter hit so many times in my life because I'm a button masher at times. Like he counter hit ultra me, and I thought that was like hella awesome for some reason. Thought it was cool.
Mashers.
Basically, yes. So I wanted to venture out to something different because I felt like, you know, obviously I didn't take my Rose, my main character, to his full potential, but I felt like I was stuck. So I wanted to try something different, maybe a different playstyle to help me learn more about the game. So I ended up picking Cody, and like Javier said, you could kind of play Rushdown or you could kind of play Keep Away. And I could say that by playing a different character, like playing Cody, I started to learn more about grasping more of the fundamentals and more of the game aspects, or like more of the aspects of the game. Like I started developing better like frame traps and stuff, and I learned a lot more with Cody by playing a different character and taking a break, and then I can apply that to my Rose game as well, and it helped that I liked the character. Like that's another thing too. Like
the fuck is that noise?
I don't know, but anyways, like that to me, it's like for certain games like Street Fighter and stuff, it's really important to like the character. I mean, obviously there's gonna be tiers and stuff, but when you're trying to start a game, like maybe like, you know, pick up this game for example, you want to play a character that you feel comfortable with at first, because if not, you know, it's gonna throw you off. Like I mean, I recommend a lot of people, like, and maybe Mikey can chime in and Javier and stuff too, like when I've had a couple friends that are actually interested in playing this game just for fun, but they ask me, how do I learn this game, which character should I start with, and I always tell them Ryu. Like I think Ryu is a pretty good character to start because you can learn a lot of the stuff about the game with him.
There's a couple things with that, and to go back to the question of how to pick a main or why to pick a main. Pick a character that you like. Pick a character that you think is really cool. Pick a character that fits your playstyle. It doesn't really matter as long as you're having fun and you're learning the game. That's all that really matters. And then to go back to answer your question, you can pick up Ryu as well, but I feel the most advantageous characters to learning the game overall are the main 12, I think not Champion Edition, but the 12 World Warriors. So the original, you know, Zangief, Blanca, any of the 12 Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 2 characters, the World Warriors, because they're Street Fighter 2 characters, and they translate to fundamentals, footsies, zoning, ground game, anti-air game. It translates to everything. Okay. And that way you'll learn the game properly.
And that's actually pretty good. That's a good point, because you actually suggested me to do that once too, and I felt like it really helped. So before we kind of take more like input from you guys, there's a couple questions from Kumar628. He says, "Do you guys think secondaries or second mains exist? Do you think people should have one or need one, or is it better to invest full time into just one main?"
I'll take that.
Who wants to take that first?
I'll take the question.
Okay.
I feel like there's no secondaries or mains anymore at this point. There's too many matches. There's too many matchups where people, for example, if Champ played against what's it called? A Viper player. He has a lot of matchup knowledge against Grizzle if he plays Viper. But if he played against, for example, a young player, he might have a little bit more difficulty. He only has Julio up there, but Kazunoko, he plays against a lot of Dawsons back in Japan. So that could be something that he can work on. But the idea is you have a lot of people that have matchup experience and then matchup knowledge. That's two different things. If you have a secondary character or multiple characters, that'll help you out. But if you only have one main, that's something that at this point in the game is very difficult to have. For example, Snake Eyes. I don't know if he's playing other characters. He's done very well with Zangief, but I'm pretty sure he, in the back of his head, he's like, I need a secondary for certain matchups because he needs it. He just needs it sometimes. Myself, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Mikey. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Myself, I like Daigo's approach from China. He does random select, and he learns every single character. And he doesn't play characters to counterpick. He cheats the Dota aspect or the MOBA aspect. He plays the matchup. He says, okay, Dawson versus Ryu. I'm not gonna play that. How would I do that when I have Cammy or something like that? He's gonna play the matchup, and he's gonna try to take the advantage of those characters in the matchups overall. And I feel like I'm gonna start taking that approach a lot more often than not.
Okay.
So it's very dependent on yourself. But at the very beginning of the stage of you learning the game, pick a character and then try your best to learn as much as you can from that character. If you feel like you're not learning something out of the character, then maybe that goes back to how you practice and how you train, or who you're playing against and where. So it's a lot of things. It's kind of hard to answer the question, but at this stage, there's no secondaries. It's who beats who, pretty much.
And this is strictly Street Fighter 4 speak, right? In this stage of the game for Street Fighter 4, is which
yeah,
mainly
for Street Fighter.
Well, I was gonna say something about like, I could say for like Injustice, even though Injustice is not even a year old, like there is like, in most fighting games now, you're not gonna just have one main character. You're gonna have a backup character. Like Injustice is like Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter 4. Like you have a main character, but you better have a backup character to cover your bad matchups, because sometimes it's just easier to have a backup character to cover those bad matchups. Like I played Killer Frost in Injustice. Some of her bad matchups in the game include Black Adam, Flash, Aquaman. No, Aquaman. No, she beats Aquaman. She beats Aquaman. She beats Aquaman 6-4.
Really?
She beats Aquaman.
She beats the King of Atlantis.
Yes. But what I take from this is, Killer Frost is a top 5 character, but she has some bad matchups that instead of like, I mean, this sounds like a cop out in a sense, but I do learn the matchup and I understand it, but I'm learning to play other characters that can fight Black Adam easier than Killer Frost, like Batgirl, Aquaman. Like I learned that from matchup experience, and also just it makes because you got to have other characters in your back pocket, in my opinion. Like it just makes the matchup so much easier, because like to me, at least this is me. Why am I going to like? I mean, I want to study and learn the matchup obviously to its fullest extent, but at the same time, why am I even if I know the matchup and it's bad? Like sometimes I feel like, why am I going to struggle with this character when I can just pick this other character that has an easier time to deal with it and just basically counterpick him? Counterpicking happens all the time.
The counterpick happens, but what I also have to ask you is, do you have that much faith in that counterpick, or would you rather fight the match with your character that you know you're good with,
and that's another,
and try to do the matchup?
See, and that's another thing that would
because I think when you not for like top players, but most beginners to intermediates, when they counterpick, they think, oh, I'm just gonna counterpick him, I'm gonna win. Or it's like you're sacrificing your better character, even though it might be considered a bad matchup, for something that you consider a better matchup, but you don't play it nearly as well.
No, and that's totally correct. Like I'll let you get to your point, Mikey, so don't lose your train of thought. But I just wanted to say that like that's a perfect you hit the nail on the head, Mike. Like just because I pick like for that example only, like just because I know that this character beats Black Adam, like doesn't mean that I'm going to win the match. most of the time I wouldn't really, you know, I would play it out with my main, but it also comes out to the fact, how much time did you put in with that secondary character? If I put in enough knowledge with that secondary character where I feel confident with that character and I know that matchup with that character, then yeah, I'm gonna use it. But most of the time, but yeah, for like, I mean, it's a perfect example. Like, yeah, I mean, but for intermediate players or beginners that are learning, like, obviously, counter picking and stuff should not be in your head yet. You should be learning a character and just playing and you know.
It should, but like a lot of players, they don't follow those rules. Like I know people who like, it happens online a lot too. Like people you know that they feel like they have to counterpick when they don't know the basics of something or anything. That they just feel because it's the right thing or this is what they're supposed to do. It's like, go for it.
Here's the thing. Mike Reyes, Fabio said it perfectly. Those intermediate beginners shouldn't be thinking about counterpicking at that stage because they're still developing, they're still learning the game. If they take the easy route out, chances are they're going to be missing a bunch of holes, or they're going to be having a bunch of holes in their game plans when it comes to learning your fundamentals and learning everything that the game to play the game properly.
Yeah, it's not only that too, but it's also a matter of like a lot of people try to play their characters based on what the tier list says, or you know, oh, I only play characters that are top 5, you know, on the tier list and stuff like that. And yet, a lot of players, you know, both intermediate and beginners, don't take into account tier lists aren't the be-all, end-all when it comes to character selection or whatnot. It's not the holy Bible. It's just sort of a guideline.
It's an opinion / guideline, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it really is. And not to mention, what it really takes into account is that, you know, this character is only, you know, considered one of the best in the game when they're being played to their absolute best potential. They're not just like that by default, you know. And a lot of people will pick a character because they're high up on the tier list, but not really realize why they're there, why they're supposedly that good. And just doing it because that's what other people say.
And honestly, this is the perfect example. Mikey, you can agree with me. Virgil from Marvel. Virgil is considered possibly one of the best, if not the best character in the game by most people. So they assume that Virgil, a lot of players just assume Virgil is really, really easy mode. Like, it's a free win when you have him at Anchor and X Factor.
It's a free lunch.
Like, he's good, he's really strong, but you still have to learn how to play the character. Like
he's good. He's very good for the character he is. He has swords, obviously, and stops a lot of advantage against your opponents. But at the end of the day, if you've played the character for only a couple of days versus somebody who's played it for about a year or two, there's going to be a big difference in playstyle and skill for the character. Mm-hmm. So not only do you have to have the skill and the mindset and the experience playing the character, you also have to have the knowledge of what it takes to play that character. And a lot of people forget that.
That definitely helps.
A lot of people forget that you have to understand how to play the character before you can say it's no skill or whether it's skill or not. People can argue about it. I don't really care. I play the character, so I know how it feels. You can say the same thing for county players. People say it's just really easy. You get a knockdown, but you have to understand you have to earn a knockdown sometimes.
It's not as easy as people say it is. Yeah, I mean, that's a very.
How many Capcom players do we have in the U.S.? Since the character is so broken, you get a knockdown, you get a vortex, right? Not too many.
That's a good point. It's a very, very good point.
But to go back to this, he says, he's Kuma 628. He's been playing Guilty Gears for quite a bit before he played Street Fighter 4, and he went to just one character, which is fine. You can always play your one character, but when it comes, this is the tournament and competitive aspect of fighting games. If you wanna win, you have to take every advantage you can at some point, and also you have to think, okay, a player like Miso Teru from Japan, he plays Blanca. He says Cammy versus Blanca is like terrible, but he will only play Blanca. So what if he runs into 5 Cammies?
Oh God!
He's probably gonna lose at least one of them, unless he's just
if not
super
more.
He has the best game of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But chances are he's gonna be playing his heart out, and in those 5 matches, it's gonna be very hard. For me, if I play a Sentinel against Zero, against Virtuals, against Striders, against any anchor character, against my anchor Sentinel, chances are I'm gonna have a hard time because Sentinel, he's just so big, and some of his normals aren't as fast as others, and his X Factor potential isn't as good as others as well. So you have to think about that.
Okay. Now I know that we early when we started this topic, we kind of talked about, picking characters that you like and everything. Now, I think I kind of mentioned it earlier, but like, let's take Street Fighter 4, because that is just the main game that we usually talk about. Like, I'm a new player, Mikey. I've never touched the game before, and I don't even know what playstyle I want to play. What character are you going to tell me to play? I
can't tell you.
Like, because that seems like a question that I mean, like I said, I have friends that want to play, but they ask me, well, who should I play? I'm like, I could tell you who's quote unquote good, but you have to play the game for yourself. Like, I mean,
yeah, I think in that situation, like, you're new and everything, you just have to mess around with everyone and see what you like.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, because when I played Dota, I picked random characters. I just picked characters that I saw were cool, and found out what they did later on in my years of playing it. Same thing with Street Fighter, but I had a sense of guidance because of my past experience watching other players, so to speak. Okay. And they can. It depends on how you want to approach it. Do you want to, like Mike G said, he pretty much hit it on the head. Do you want to just mess around with the characters, or do you want to play the tippy top characters of the game? So it depends.
Yeah. I think also too, it's because like one of the questions that I was reading on a SRK the other day when I was thinking of topics for the show, and I was reading in the they have in the forum section, they have like a newbie thread for new players that never touched the game before. So one guy asked, is it better if I've never played the game before, I want to start today, and I already know what characters are good and stuff, but let's say, I mean, people can argue that Viper's kind of let's just say Ibuki or Viper, like the most execution heavy character. To some people, they think Viper is really execution heavy compared to like playing Ryu, but they want to play Viper. If they never touched the game before, should they start out just playing Viper, or should they just play Ryu to get their feet wet and understand the fundamentals of the game and the game mechanics first?
They have never played any fighting game before.
Yes, they've never played any fighting game before. Like, literally, I bought Street Fighter 4. And I bought a stick. I've never touched the game before. But I liked Viper for the way she looks, but from what I hear from people, she's really hard on execution, but Ryu's pretty easy to understand and like play to start out playing. Now, I'm speculating in a sense. Like, most people will say that Ryu's an easy character to learn. So, and I disagree with that, but some people will say he's really easy to pick up. Now, but what I'm saying is, some people think, the newer players think that Viper's really execution heavy, but they like that. But this certain player likes Viper, but should he go the easier route and play a character with easier execution and to understand the game mechanics, or go straight into the character he wants to play regardless of the execution level?
This is a question of which road to choose, pretty much. Do you want to choose the road where you'll excel a lot faster with Ryu, but still have a ton of holes, a ton of branches to branch out to? Or will you pick Viper, have a bunch of things to work on at the very foundation of your character because of execution, and then start learning the game, and then find fundamentals later on? That's something that you have to really branch out in the terms of the character's aspects and what you can learn from them. And from the looks of it, Ryu is probably the better choice, because the beginning is a lot easier to learn the game. Viper, the beginning is pretty difficult, especially if you've never played a fighting game. If you played a fighting game like heavy execution, like Guilty Gears, go for it. You can play Viper. Mm-hmm. That's what Latif did, I believe.
Yeah. But like strictly never touched the game before, never touched any fighting game before in their life.
Yeah.
And they want to go straight into playing Street Fighter 4. I thought that was just it.
it's-
I personally just thought that was something interesting to bring up.
Yeah, I really think he should go with Ryu instead because it helps him or her in many ways than Viper would at the very beginning, unless he really wants to take the harder route. That's something up to him. If he really wants to, he can go for it.
Okay. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was, as choosing in a main. I know that we talked about mostly Street Fighter and then Injustice, but like, okay, here's one thing I saw earlier that one of the other viewers Tiger threw out there is like, for Marvel, for example, when you're getting into that game, team construction and synergy is choosing main characters for that game is completely different window than playing a one character game, so to speak. Now, when you I'll strictly speak to you first, Mikey, like, because you're a top Marvel player. You're really strong player. When you first started playing and you played MSS, Magneto, Storm, Sentinel, did you pick those characters because you liked the characters, or you just knew that they were good because of the mechanics of the game? Like, we're talking vanilla Marvel with DHC glitch and all that other stuff. Did that come into effect, or you literally picked 3 characters that looked cool, you liked, and you maybe saw some videos, and you went into training mode and started playing?
Pretty much, I picked Magneto because Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel. Because I remember watching Marvel 2, and I loved the game, but I never got the chance to play it. I loved the way people executed in the game. I loved how fast it was, and I loved how you had to have a different mindset compared to Street Fighter, for example, in the game. So when I picked those 3 characters, it's, of course, along the ways there came new tech, for example, like DHC glitches and infinites later on in the game. The 3 characters I chose were just based off of another game. It's just based off of what I liked. Nothing else from it. It wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna choose these characters because they have crazy setup or a godlike infinite or something like that.
Okay. I was trying to think about, like, okay, but I think probably, like, would you agree that for when you're about playing fighting games and learning a new game, and in your mindset, you have to think about where, like, before you even start about choosing a character, where you want to, like, maybe at least this is how I think, like, where do you want to take this? Do you want to play this game competitively and be really good, or are you just playing this game for fun and, like, casually? Like,
yeah,
I think that's something that's a really big misconception that a lot of people don't really think about at the time. Like, people, because I mean, you've everybody here listening or on this panel, we've all heard the same stuff. Like, especially Marvel's the biggest case. I don't want to play this character because everybody plays this character, or he's top tier. Everybody plays this character. Why would I want to do this? It's like, they're like, man, these guys are boring because all they do is pick, like, people rag on Chris G for picking Morgan. He throws fireballs, but people pick the top those guys, the professional gamers, they pick the top tier because they want to win, because they're in there for the money.
Let me say something before you go on, because a lot of people I don't know if they've said it or not. They said he picked Morgan and that's all he picks. Chris G has been through a lot of teams. And
yeah, especially back in the vanilla and early days of Ultimate.
Yeah. If you go back to watching his videos, he's picked Ryu, he's picked Wesker, he's picked Hawkeye, he's picked a bunch of characters, and his character knowledge, and same thing with Ray Ray. They know the game so much because they play different characters. When you hear Ray Ray commentate, he knows so much about the game. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he plays the characters, and also that goes back to, hey, how do I form a team? Sometimes you just have to try some things out until you find a very good solution, which he did.
Okay, yeah, because I know that there's some people that play Marvel because obviously it's a fun game and comic book characters and all this stuff, but like most of them that don't want to get better, or they want to get better, but they have horrible character selection or team synergy. Like I guess for anybody that plays Marvel that's somewhat new, I mean the game is a couple years old, but like, would you suggest, like, I mean, obviously you want to pick characters too that stand out, like and that you are interested in. Like, I picked Hawkeye because I'm interested in playing Hawkeye because I play a plethora of characters. Like, I used to play Phoenix because I love that character from the comic books. I love her. So it's like I play the character because I want to. But at the same time, she turned out to be pretty damn good. Yeah, that's an understatement.
Hey, can we answer this question right here? It says, am I sexist for not playing girls ever?
No.
But I actually wanted to answer that with Luffy.
Oh, God, the Luffy decision, why he plays Rose. Okay, go ahead.
Wait,
Mike.
what? I don't know this one.
You don't know this?
Oh.
No.
He picked Rose because... he picked Rose because she had big breasts. That's it.
What?
That's exactly why he picked Rose. No, real talk. That's why he picked Rose.
Sako, he only plays girl characters. That's it.
He plays Evil Ryu.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
But Rose said he had the biggest odds. Shouldn't he be playing like Viper?
No, but that's why real talk. That's why he picked Rose. I mean, I laughed when I saw that. I laughed.
Rose is classy. Rose is the classiest one of the group.
Dude, like, look, like here, like I'll show you guys. Look. I have AE still up in training mode. Look at that classy dress, man. Like, she's awesome. Like, that's another reason why I like Rose. Like, okay, this sounds lame too. Another reason I kept
She's also wearing those fishnets, man.
The other reason I kept playing Rose too, and like this sounds really lame, is because her other costumes were awesome. Her other costumes were
Is
really
she
cool.
your waifu, Jared?
We're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. that is.
Hey,
okay.
we have a question here. It says, Mikey, if Jago is top tier in Killer Instinct and the vast majority of the field plays Jago because he's the best character, would you say to pick a less known character for the tournament scene? If I were to play Killer Instinct competitively and it was very attractive to a large audience, I'd probably pick one of the best characters. I wouldn't see why not. If there's other characters that I like and I see that will help me learn the game properly, I'll probably pick them too. But it's a free for all pretty much. You can pick whatever you want.
And that just goes into the thought process of where you want, when you play this game, where do you want to take this? Like, if you just play tournaments for, just to enter and, like, have some fun, then yeah. But like, if you're playing for that money and you spend thousands of dollars to travel over, you're gonna pick the best characters to give you the best chance to win. I mean,
and that's a new game too, so you can't really tell who's gonna be the best.
Yeah, that's a new game too. Yeah, I mean, you can't really. It's gonna be interesting too because that game is free to play to start, and I don't know all the schematics of it. Like, I know you get Jago free first. I don't know if you get any other character, and you can buy.
Nope.
Oh, it's just Jago.
Well, if you get the free-to-play version, it's just Jago. But if you buy, like, the actual, I don't know. I think there's, like, a couple of different versions you could buy. Again, just like you, I'm not entirely sure on the specifics of it. But you can also buy the full retail version of it that will have all the characters.
Okay, I think that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, because if this Killer Instinct thing, and this is a little off topic, but if this Killer Instinct free-to-play system and with buying characters in increments works out, you're going to see a lot more gaming companies do this. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. But I guess unless there's any more questions about, like, choosing mains, let's kind of move on. We can revisit this later if there's any more questions, but we have another topic to go over. And it's a kind of a topic that we discussed last week, but we heard some feedback from people, they wanted more in-depth conversation about it. So we're going to talk more about matchups. We're going to talk about basically dealing with bad matchups and game planning for matchups that you have or unknown matchups to you, I guess. So, I guess before we start, we have a question. So, Mikey, question: is it imperative for you to pick top tier if you play multiple tournament games? Tokido by far is the best FGC gamer according to results, and he seems to only pick top tier.
Well, Tokido has a huge schedule to each game he plays. For example, he'll play BlazBlue this day, the next day he'll play Marvel, the next day he'll play AE. He doesn't have the time to pick and choose which characters and play those matchups. He's going to try to pick the character that gives him the most advantage and that will help him beat the other opponent without having to learn the game as thoroughly as he should. but because he plays so many games, he doesn't have that time, so he just picks the TP top. And plus, I'm pretty sure he takes it as a profession. He's a professional in his field, and he wants to win, and he wants to impress his sponsors, and he wants to represent his sponsors as well.
Okay. So let's move on to matchups. I know we touched on this last week, and we had a discussion, but now that Javier wasn't on our show last week, so having him here will bring in some more insight. So before we get into like bad matchups, I guess per se. So, and this question goes for everybody on the panel. So like when you guys play in tournaments, like Street Fighter, it could be anything, and you encounter a character that you basically have no matchup or very little matchup knowledge about, what is your game plan or thought process? Like how do you game plan against something like that if you have no prior training or like knowledge of the character? So I don't know who wants to pick up, who wants to start.
It's kind of like you're throwing yourself to the sharks. It's the best you can do. When I first played Ryan, Filipino champ, against his Dawson, I obviously got creamed. He beat me pretty bad. So, but he was very nice enough to help me after the match, after the fact. And I learned some things. And slowly, I was challenging him every single tournament, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, last round, every single tournament. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mental strength and stamina to go through hard matchups and learn them, especially if you don't have a person to play that hard matchup with constantly, and you're going to tournaments and playing that one game, or those two or three games against your bad matchup. So it's a lot of perseverance, and I guess looking at yourself and learning the bad matchup overall.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll go. I would just say that like if this happens at a tournament, like I would just kind of go back to like your most like basic game plan. Like if you know your character is good with like projectiles, then maybe stick to that. Or if they're just good with footsies, and maybe play a footsie game. But I would play it slow, kind of approach them carefully, because maybe you might not know what the character can do against you. But maybe you don't have to beat the character. Maybe you just have to beat the player. Maybe you just have to like outthink them in certain situations, or maybe just make them come to you. Maybe they'll put themselves in bad situations and they'll open themselves up to bad mistakes.
Actually, I'm glad you actually brought that up. Some of the people that I've actually beat back in, I think when the game first started, when the game first came out, I beat them because I outplayed them. I didn't know any matchups. I didn't know against, for example, Scythe. I didn't know the matchup for Scythe, but because I saw some videos online and I saw how, for example, Daigo played against him, I had a game plan, like Javier said. As long as you have a game plan for your character against that character, it could be anything from like what Javier said, fireballs or your best tools. Use that and see how it goes from there.
Yeah. I don't know, Mike G or Nick, you guys have anything?
I agree with what Javier said. If I'm facing a matchup that I don't know, I kind of revert back to a basic game plan of what my character should do. I try not to get drawn into something I don't know, so I just try to focus on playing my absolute basic game plan against that character. Like if I'm fighting, I don't know who's a character I don't know, like Fuerte or again. I'm not going to try to learn the matchup on the fly, because if I try to learn the matchup on the fly or play the matchup on the fly, more than likely you're going to lose. So I always go back to just kind of slowing down a bit and playing my basic game plan of just working for the knockdown and then starting up my vortex. So I think it goes back into just not getting forced into trying to play the matchup on the fly.
Yeah, I've actually done that several times in tournaments and lost because of that. So it's hard not to, but it's also it's hard to say. It's very hard to say.
Yeah.
Because you're stuck in a situation. You're pretty much cornered, and you have to fight your way out.
Okay, Nick, do you have anything to add, like as far as like playing against like any strategies that you have?
I think a good way to look at it is even though on paper it's a bad matchup, never be afraid to just, stick to your guns and just try to fight it out. A good example would be, a big exhibition, quote unquote, that me and Mike G had a couple of months back in Injustice. And no, I'm not gonna use this opportunity to talk shit. I feel I've done that enough. I'm the best. Okay, no, seriously.
Yo, you beat me on my worst day. So
Hashtag excuses. Hashtag excuses.
Excuses.
Anyways, Nick, go ahead.
But no. Well, again, I played Batman. He played Superman. Now, on paper, that's a bad match for Batman. Superman had.
I believe that matchup is 5-5. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I actually, it depends on the player, because I actually think that matchup is even too, only because Batman has bats. If Batman did not have bats, that matchup would be bad. That'd be matchup bad.
It depends. Well, again, it's one of those matchups where there's a lot of factors. It depends on the stage. Does Batman have bats out? Is the Superman player playing a good zoning game? Is he playing good rushdown?
Yeah.
All these things are things that need to be taken into account. And it's not just this matchup, it's any kind of matchup in any fighting game. There's always those other side factors that you need to take into account. And it's like what I said earlier. It's only a truly bad matchup for you if the other player is playing this character to their absolute best potential. Mm-hmm. If they're really using them the way that they're supposed to be used.
Okay.
Otherwise, then it doesn't matter as much as it would in other circumstances, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's kind of like not taking the shortcuts. Mm-hmm. You have to face your demons, and it goes back to answering. It says Kuma628 says he wants to try to play, or he thought about playing two characters at once, kind of evenly. What happens with that is you spend half your energy here and half your energy here, and your progression is a lot slower than you want it to be. So if you just focus on one character and also learn their bad matchups, you can develop other characters as well a lot faster, since you know that matchup in that character's shoes and so on.
Yeah. I know Lovings had a question earlier, and we discussed this earlier in the show about when we were talking about choosing a character and about like counter picking and pocket characters. He just basically wants to know, because basically all top players have a pocket character, quote unquote, in a sense. Is it best to spend your time to attempt to become better in the bad matchup, or pick up your pocket character that's better in that bad matchup? I think it depends on the player, right?
It depends. I mean, like I said, if you want to win, then you want to get that character to put yourself in an advantage against your opponent's character. If you're just looking to learn the game properly, learn the character's bad matchup first, like I just said, and then go on from there.
Okay.
These guys are professionals and they want to win, so they obviously have. Like for example, Momoshi picked Yun against Infiltrators Akuma. That's a hard matchup for Akuma. So that goes into him. He wants to represent his sponsor. He wants to win. Obviously, he wants to be the better player.
Okay. One thing I wanted to add about at least for me learning or fighting someone that in an unexpected matchup. Would you say that it's would you say, since if you're trying to, instead of like playing, not necessarily playing against the matchup against the character, you're trying to like just outread your opponent? So like you would try some is it good to try some stuff in the first round of the match to see what your opponent's going to react to, and then maybe you can adapt to that gameplay later on in the match? Like,
yeah, that's pretty much a game plan. Like you have to test your opponent, see what they do, and then from there you can formulate your end game.
So it's kind of like okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That pretty much ties to bad matchups as well. You have to test your opponent, see what they know about it, and at the end of the day, if it's a bad matchup and you know more about that character than they do for your character, chances are you're gonna win. Like a Dawson player that I played, I forget when, he didn't know the matchup, and I just destroyed him because he had so much trouble dealing with things that I knew how to counter. Versus him, he's just barely learned the character. It's a bad matchup, but he's not gonna beat me because I know more about the matchup overall.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and again, kind of like we're sort of rephrasing what you said. it's just a matter of testing your opponent and seeing what you can and can't get away with. It's a matter of conditioning them, you know, getting them to eventually do what you want them to do without them realizing it. And that's a whole nother thing with mind games and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Okay.
how the old EX overhead was born.
Yeah. Okay, so
I had 3 outcomes.
From
with that.
full screen, by the way.
Exactly. My theory with that thing was always to test it. If they got hit by it, I was probably gonna win the match. If they blocked it, it was gonna be even. If they threw me out of it, I'm screwed.
Damn.
That was my test for the matchup.
I'm gonna
That's
go.
got a
I just
system.
want to go on record. He's probably not watching, but did the jump strong with Balrog jump strong throw? Did Farouk start that, or did Elrana start that?
Jump strong throw is my setup.
Farouk said he started.
No.
Ooh!
And Mikey's gonna
Oh.
Mikey's gonna claim it's his. I showed Mikey that setup
Ooh!
No, he didn't. What?
because just like Mikey, like the Chief says, everyone in Fresno with their revisionist history. So that's my setup.
Which is like
not
WWE, man. We got that
100%, dude.
revisionist history.
I stole that from like Pure Rogue a long time ago. What are you talking about?
And he probably
Get outta
started as
here.
well. Okay. Anyways,
Man,
So-
all y'all fools that be full of shit. I invented mind games, I invented fighting games, and you all damn well know it.
It's like I beat Mikey's forte in the first of 10. He won a minute.
Okay, hold on.
oh wait. Let's save that for Mikey's stories. Okay. Let's save that for Mikey's stories. Okay.
Nah, that's gonna be a biased story. yo.
No. Let's save that. Wait. Alright. Anyways, I have a question. Alright, there's a question that Tasp asked. Okay, if we're gonna start playing Street Fighter 4 seriously again in order to prep for Ultra that comes out next year, what are some of the best characters to play that will help you learn the game?
Cammy.
This
No.
is the same.
I wouldn't say Cammy.
This is the same. Pretty much the same question, or what we talked about before. Try the original 12 World Warriors. Chun-Li is probably gonna be really good in the game. Ganon's probably gonna be good.
Ken's gonna be.
Ryu's still the same. Balrog's kind of the same.
Dang
A little
it.
bit better, I think.
Sagat.
So yeah, they're all good. They're all still good. They will help you learn the game the way I guess you should play it. And then after that, you can learn Street Fighter 4 in the sense. Because Street Fighter 4 compared to Street Fighter 2 obviously are different games.
Yeah.
The fundamentals are still there, but the mechanics they're very different.
Okay. Is it better to
Actually,
play in?
There's a. Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
No, go ahead. I'm reading through the chat. Go ahead, Javier. I'm sorry. You haven't really spoke much lately, so floor is yours.
I just kind of wanted to. I know we touched on like how to approach like bad matchups like in a tournament setting, but I kind of wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about like how you go about like building character knowledge or building a matchup experience like outside of tournaments
Okay.
from like casuals and like from training mode and stuff like that. So I kind of broke down like how I think you should approach matchups.
Go right ahead.
And,
Floor is
okay.
yours.
So I kind of have 4 steps. I'll say the steps, and then you guys can kind of chime in or disagree with what I have. Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
So see, step 1 would be to watch videos of good players, that play your character, and also that play the character you're having trouble against. Like watch both characters to see what they do and how the matchup should go.
Yeah.
My step 2 would be after you watch videos, play the matchup, like especially in casuals, play it as much as you can, and try to use the things you saw in the videos, or just try things in general and see if it works, or if it doesn't work, just try things out. And then step 3 would be to, after you've been playing matches, go to training mode and like find out like what that character was abusing against you, or like any bad situations that you didn't know how to fix. And then now you can do that because now you're in training mode. You can set the dummies to those positions and figure out what to do. And step 4 would be just rinse and repeat. Once you've been doing that, then start over from watching videos and work your way through it again.
I actually want to replace that step 4 with just learning the character. That would actually be those 4 steps were the things that I did.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, just learn
I
the
can agree with all of that, honestly.
Yeah. The first step was watching videos.
Yeah.
I did that when I didn't know anything about the game. Second step, I had to play those guys. I lost, obviously, so I went back to drawing board, and I didn't know how to use training mode too well. So I tried, like you said, doing normals against that characters and what beats what. And finally at the end, I figured, hey, I'm just gonna learn the character because I'm using him in training mode anyway. So learn him.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Now, granted, I'm probably the worst person when it comes to taking all that advice that you just spit out and actually applying it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I watch videos. I try and play the matchups in casuals against the players that I have trouble with, and I try and learn some stuff. Probably the biggest thing I don't do enough of, I do some, but I don't do enough, is sitting in training mode and like testing a bunch of stuff out, or even like what Mikey said, taking a step further and playing the character. Like, for example, for me, when I started playing Cody, like I still, even when I play Rose, I still to this day cannot fight Balrog. Like Balrog is like one of my demons in Street Fighter 4. So it's I watch matchups to see what I can do. Like, for example, I watched PR Rog play Momochi when Momochi played him. I tried to use some of that to my advantage, but also too, I don't think I don't know if like, for me, I don't know if necessarily playing the character is going to help me in a sense, because I don't know if I'm playing the character correct. I don't know. I guess define like playing the character. Like, are you, Mikey, like, are you going to like sit and learn the character for a week and then try and play him in casuals just to see what the character can do? Or are you just like sitting in training mode just trying combos or just trying situations?
I do both. One day when I lost to Chris King Vega, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna learn the character. I spent 2 weeks playing the character, and that character online is a disaster. Cannot do anything. And at the end of the day, it helped me out. I learned the character, and I'm a lot better with that matchup than I was before.
Okay. Let's see. Question about bad matchups: is it better to play the character, or play the player, or play the character?
Depends on who. Depends on your level. Depends on just who the player in question is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, I might even go as far as saying depends on the game.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No. I'll use Injustice as a perfect example. If I don't know the matchup or it's bad, obviously I'm gonna try and study its stuff. But at the same time, Killer Frost, I have one game plan. I hit you once, I'm not gonna let you play. That is so that's basically what my, like, I mean, I don't think, like, even if it's a bad matchup, I don't look at it as like I'm trying to play the matchup. I just try and go and play the player and see how they react to the stuff that I do. You know, I think it just varies between games and stuff. But yeah, that's my 2 cents that I have. You know, I'm trying to daily throw in.
It does.
I mean,
it does, and also, like, for example, Marvel, sometimes you don't need to know matchups because your characters are so strong.
That's
and
fair.
they put your advantage at such a high point at some point in the game. A good example would be Magnetic Blast. A lot of people complain about Magnetic Blast. It's very hard for some characters to deal with that. Another thing would be, he's asking, is it better to play the player or the character? Like I said before, I've beaten a lot of players that, quote unquote, are bad matchups, but I beat them because I read on them, or I had better mind games than them. It wasn't because I knew the matchup, or because they knew the matchup, or they might have known the matchup or not. I just beat them because I outplayed them. I didn't really beat them because of the character knowledge. At a higher point, at a higher level, you're gonna need both. You're gonna need to be able to play the player and the character. So it's a lot of things.
Okay. I guess, Javier, the 4 points that you made were really good, and with Mikey adding in learning the character, I think that's a pretty good, set point list to deal with matchups. Could you all? I mean, maybe this is already hinted in or considered, but like, outside of like playing casuals and stuff, and this could probably fall into that. Would you just like even go as far as just asking the player? Like, what do I do in this? Asking players that know the character. Like, what do I do in this situation? Like, if I'm playing Cody and I don't understand how to fight against Ryu, like, should I just be? I mean, obviously by watching videos and stuff, but should I also be taking advantage and asking, like, let's say Mikey, what do I do in this situation? Like, what do you know what my game plan could be, or like, you know, like what, like, you know, stuff like that. Is it good to ask, like, just keep asking questions too, like with players?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always ask somebody, unless they're a complete jerk. Then that's another story.
Yeah, Mikey's a jerk. He doesn't help me. No, just kidding.
Always ask, always explore, and always use training mode to find your solutions in certain matchups. That's the best thing you can do. Because sometimes people have things to say that you don't know. Terry Caneda told Javier that you can punish Blanca's slide, his down forward fierce, with a Tatsu from any range. I never knew that. That's hilarious.
What?
Yeah.
For real?
No.
Even if it's at the tip, I think I heard, right?
Yeah, it works.
It punishes his. It's so funny. It looks so.
I want to see what that looks like.
That's amazing.
I've done it. It looks so funny. The first Tatsu. The Roundhouse Tatsu.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. He also told us how to match Demon. Incorrect.
Yo, real talk. That guy mashes Demon like crazy, but he gets it to work. He gets it to work, man. Okay,
Let's go to this question.
So let's see.
If I could just add to what Mikey said, is like it definitely ask the person you're playing against for advice, but before you do that, just try things out on your own. Like, try everything you can think of, and if you still can't find an answer, then go ahead and ask them, because I think if you do that, you'll retain what they tell you much better, and I think the more likely to give you good advice if they notice you're trying to come up with an answer on your own as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go to this question. For a player, let's see. For a player that doesn't have enough time to look at videos, go to locals, and online is his or hers only training ground, do you suggest to stick with your occasional online tactics, i.e. wake up ultras, or go outside your comfort zone and play a style that you're not used to
That's easy.
for a tournament?
You have to get outside your comfort zone. You'll never improve if you stay in your comfort zone the whole time.
Yeah.
You have to. Sometimes I feel you have to put yourself in bad situations in order to learn from it. Like, it just goes with, I think, any sort of training that you do. I mean, I've done jiu-jitsu for 7 years and boxing, and like you can't stay in your comfort zone. You have to try new things, and you can't keep falling into the same tactics, or else you're never going to get better. You're never going to improve.
Yeah. That even goes to life situations.
Exactly.
If you get too comfortable at a certain job, now all of a sudden you get let go, and then you're like, well, what the heck?
You start autopiloting. You start getting content with what you're doing.
You pretty much have to always be hungry to find ways to improve yourself in fighting games or even in life.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the time to go to watch videos, go to locals, and online is only training mode, I say don't use online, especially for Marvel. Do not. We have a person, Nathan. He comes from, what was it?
Lindsay.
Where does he come from?
Lindsay,
yeah. He drives an hour away, and he comes and he's like, the only practice I have is online. And when I play him, he has all these bad habits, and it's just not working out for him. And I said, dude, don't play online. Go to training mode. Find out all your max damage B&Bs and all that stuff, all your TCs against every single character, and do that until you get that down. And he's starting to realize that, yeah, that's probably a better idea, because one, you invest your time a lot better. You find a lot better things for your characters. Like, for example, when I go play Marvel in training mode, I have so many things that I find that are just so broken because I'm not playing online. So the opportunity cost of playing online is a lot. Or playing in training mode is a lot better than playing online. In AE, it's a little bit different. You can kind of play matchups and stuff like that, but there's lag, so you can't accommodate for lag. I'm not really sure how to put it, but it doesn't help you understand certain matchups because of the frames are different online.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else to add as far as let's see. I think that those. So I guess for anybody new that's come in, we're basically going over matchups, how to learn matchups, bad matchups, and things like that. And Javier, can you just repeat kind of like your step process of what you think people should follow? And I think all of us agree it's a pretty good process to use.
Okay, yeah, sure. So step one is to watch videos of good players, and that means players that use your character as well as the other character that you're having trouble fighting against. So that's step one. Step two is play the matchup and try to think a lot while you're playing and try things out. Try to become familiar with the matchup by playing against someone else. And step three is to, after you've been playing, go to training mode with whatever problems you encountered during your matches or whatever unknown situations you came across. So go to training mode and try to figure that out. And then Mikey added that step four should be to learn that character you're having trouble against. Like, actually use them and try to get into their mindset of what they want to do in a match. That way you can kind of see it from both sides.
Okay.
And I like what Fabio said. There are things you cannot train your opponents to do and not do online versus online. There's some things online that they don't care. Offline they don't care sometimes too, but a lot more often you're playing in a tournament offline and they're trying to win. So chances are you can condition them, you can play on their nerves, you can play on their mind games a lot better than you can offline. Or online, I'm sorry. And it says you can do a combo in training mode 1,000 times in a row, but it won't mean anything if you can't adapt it, or set it up in different ways. Yes and no. If you put yourself in a situation where you can do that combo, then you've practiced it 1,000 times. It's already second nature to you. But like you said, you can't just practice combos in training mode and expect it to work in a real match if you haven't played anybody. So that goes into playing somebody offline, or even playing on the computer. Sometimes it kind of helps a little bit. I've played Marvel and AE against the computers on hard. They have the most ridiculous reactions in the world. I cannot.
Yeah, because they just read your inputs.
Yeah, they just read my inputs.
Marvel's the best when you do that. Oh man, I've seen some of the most broken stuff. Like, how did you react to that? But it's hella fun.
And it's based off of inputs, which is pretty interesting. So you're like, okay, I need to open up this computer a lot better. And then you find out that you do the first layer of your mix-up, and then you open up the opponent already, but you already have 3 or 4 more layers after that. So playing against a computer might even help as well.
And I also think another thing that we didn't really touch upon in this list too, that it needs to be put in players' heads too, is you got to put in the time. Like, studying matchups and learning matchups is not going to be easy, and it takes time. So you have to be willing to learn it. Like, that's something else too.
Do you think Marvel hard AI is bad to play Mortal Kombat or SNK games? I want to say ST. Yeah, ST.
ST computer
is godlike. The Blanca players, the computer, Blanca, I'm like, what the heck? You don't even have charge.
So good.
Blanca flash kick with Guile. Charge? What the hell?
Dude, no.
He answered. Like Fei Long, I'll jump and then he'll wreck me out. I'm like, what the heck? It's so
Dude,
broken.
It's those godlike reactions, man.
It's a god.
Oh, it's a god.
Akuma, dude. ST Akuma.
That's why he's bad.
I'm not sure if you guys have tried this, but actually maybe Mikey has. But and when I can't play online, or if my connection is bad, I'll play against the computer, and sometimes they'll abuse certain moves or situations on me, and I'll go back into training mode and figure out how to counter it, and it actually helps me learn the matchup a little bit.
I've actually done it a little bit, not as often this year though, but
yeah.
I've done it against Baraga and Akuma.
I can honestly say I don't utilize that.
For me, it's more like I want to hit the computer a certain way if they're crouching or standing, so I can do a combo. And then I find out that they do a move that I can't deal with sometimes because I'm trying to do a combo, and I say, okay, well, I can't stand there when they're just swinging.
Exactly. Because I guess one example would be is I was playing against the CPU and I was playing against a Dan, and I kept abusing Dan's his Tatsu.
Yeah, safe.
It's pretty good. It's up close. So I trained myself to just on reaction with Cody, on reaction to just do low forward because he does that little slide and it actually hits Dan out of his Tatsu. So it's pretty good.
What?
Oh, wow.
That's broken.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. We're learning. You guys are learning broken stuff.
So if you
So
I
those of
played
you who
that
are
too.
struggling with a Dan matchup,
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough life.
I play Dan too, so that's a counter.
Your
Now,
dad
if you-
sucks.
don't.
Okay, let's be honest
Hey,
here.
come on, hey, come on. My dad's legit. So if you're playing Ryu and you're playing against Cody, if he ever does the forward, I think roundhouse, the kick, the hop
Yeah.
kick, you can do crouching fierce after the fact, and you'll punish him.
Yes, because even though he does a hop kick, he's still considered grounded. So he's fierce in a full combo.
That's awesome.
Oh, then hey, I did this on an accident against Reyes' Bison. I was just messing around. I did crouching fierce into super, and I just buffered it, and nothing happened. And then he did scissor kick, and then he got hit out of it, and I supered him. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. It was God.
It's godlike.
Amazing.
So if you want to beat scissor kicks, just do crouching fierce into super, and it'll work.
Yeah. Actually, I think Mikey did something similar to. I can't remember his player, but it's when we had the Crossroads event at Focus Attack, and Mikey was playing against that Bison player. What's his name again?
Oh, you mean the infamous XSK
Andy?
Samurai pop-off?
Andy OCR, man.
Andy OCR. Yeah, well, Mikey did like.
Oh, boy.
Super.
Oh my God.
That was...
I did standing strong super, right?
Yeah, standing strong. That was godlike.
That was the
That was
initial
good.
XSK Samurai pop-off. Like, man, this guy just popped off, and I was just like looking at him. I didn't really know Mikey that well, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. And I was like, he just yelled. I was like,
We can say that for Mikey's stories. We can say
yeah,
that.
We'll save that for Mikey's stories. Anyways, there's a question.
Actually, are we done, or are we still answering
No.
questions?
There's a
We
question.
have one more question.
Oh, I guess it's to me. Wow. All right. And who wants to hear me talk? Nobody.
Okay, we're done.
nope.
Yeah, we're done.
I
Back
don't.
it up. For a game like
Okay, then.
For a game like Injustice, sometimes it's not matchups that are bad, but interactables and stages. Any tips on how to overcome interactables or stages? Okay. Don't get put on a bad stage. I'm just kidding. That's a fucked up way to answer that. All right, no, seriously. Okay, really. Injustice not only has matchups with characters, they have stage advantages because of the interactables. The biggest thing is people need to practice in training mode, and people do not utilize this. And sometimes I'm guilty because I forget. You can meter burn forward dash through interactables like a focus attack in Street Fighter 4. Yes, you take a little bit of like gray damage, but you get through and you can get a full punish. Not that many players, the good Injustice players use that. Not that many Injustice players use that, and that's something that is going to need to be used later on in high level play in order to succeed. Like, I didn't use that, and I mean this is a bad example because I got bodied the last time I played Injustice. I got bodied, but in casuals I started abusing that more because I started playing a couple casual games where people were starting to use interactables, and I started doing the forward dash, burning a meter, and I would get a full punish and they would die. You know, that's the easiest way to get to deal with that. Another thing is like you always want to make sure that you know your character in and out, what stages are best and what stages are worst for your character. Once you know that, then you know it's half the battle. But
I think I want to add to that is that in Injustice, it's important to play on every stage.
That's very true.
When me and Jard would practice for a long time, we would only play on Atlantis.
And that's really bad. Yeah, that was very bad.
That was really, really bad.
No, but then we started playing on Metropolis Rooftop.
Eventually, we started switching, and I think this is also a big part is that I would always pick Metropolis Rooftop because that was always.
Because you're a scumbag.
That was always Superman's best stage.
And against a character like me that wasn't a power character that couldn't throw those interactables, that was a bad stage for me. But we played it. We played it a lot, so I learned how to deal with it. I had combos specific. If I hit him once on the certain area of the stage, I would get a stage interactable, and I would move away from that from the rooftop. So I learned and adapted from that.
The best thing I think you could do is don't select the stage. Whatever stage, like when you start training mode, whatever is selected, you play on that stage and you become familiar with it. Because in a tournament, you never know which character they're gonna play or which stage they're gonna pick. So you have to be ready for all of the stages. You have to be familiar with the locations of the interactables, their ranges.
Do they respawn? The damage? Like, there's some glitches on certain stages where interactables do 44% damage.
And there are some interactables in which power characters, for some reason, they'll do it different. Like in that stage where Martian Manhunter's in the background.
Oh, yeah, Watchtower. Watchtower.
Yeah, when you pick up, there are some characters like Superman will pick up that globe and throw it at you. But other power characters like Aquaman or Shazam, they'll roll it, and I don't know why, but it's stuff like that you really have to be familiar with. You can't you really just have to go into every level and prepare for each prepare for any matchup that any player might pick.
Yeah.
You can't get accustomed to only playing on this level or only playing on your character's preferred level.
It's something that, you know, I know it sounds stupid because, you know, a lot of people don't like this game, but if you do play this game, that's something you have to learn. Interactables are a big part of the game. I know people will say turn them off, but to me, if you turn that off, that's not injustice. It's not injustice. The way it feels is not injustice. So you just have to learn to adapt.
You could say that doing that is an injustice of sorts.
Oh gosh,
Nick, you're out.
You're out. You've been banned.
Yes.
No, but going back to like even my match against Scythe, we played Rooftop and Atlantis the whole set, and it was the last game 9-9. Scythe had just lost, and I tied it up, and he went to the pig stage, and I had no clue.
Stroke of genius.
And I had no clue how to deal with that pig, because I think I got hit by that pig at least 3 times in a row, and I just didn't know how to do it. That stage cost me, and I have no one to blame but myself because I never practiced that stage. And so that's why I said it's important, and especially in Injustice, to be familiar with how each of those interactables work, and it's up to you to play on each level and learn everything.
And that's what I do too when I play. I'm sorry, I'll let you go ahead, Nick, after I get this thought out. When I go to training mode, I play on the training stage. I play on the stage that is highlighted after I pick my character. When I play online games, I pick a random stage every game so I can learn the matchups on those stages. So I think that it's really helped my play, and I understand where, like right now, I could tell you where all the interactables are, where my character is an advantage or a disadvantage on almost every stage in the game, because I know the matchup knowledge. But
okay, we'll take one more question and then we'll move on.
We'll move on to Mikey's stories.
Yes.
Last question. A lot of people complain about PS3 lag. Do any of you guys do different combos during tournaments depending on what system the tournament is running on? PS3 or Xbox? I say that with a fat no, because
I do not.
Marvel's sake, I don't, simply because I just don't really. I don't think that there's that much of a. I don't play a character where the lag affects it that much, and I personally have not seen the game lag out that much where it's affected me doing combos that I couldn't do on Xbox. So Mikey can probably answer this the best because he plays Morgan too on the side. So
it's very dependent on PS3. When you're playing against freaking Dante, Virgil, and Magneto or something like that, or Sentinel drones, it's very hard to shoot Morgan fireballs when all that stuff's all on the screen, especially your missiles. It kind of messes with your inputs a little bit. On Xbox, not so much. So that kind of gives you an idea of how I feel in that situation. In AE, it's more of, have you taken the time to play on PS3 and or Xbox? It's very dependent. Like I said in the past episode, I said I had a lot of trouble with PS3, so I just took a bunch of time. It took like 2 weeks playing on PS3. Marvel, it's just very hard. The Yipes, for example, he won't play. I think he won't play.
He won't play Dante Virgil Magneto on PS3.
On PS3, yeah.
He'll only play.
So
yeah. It kind of sucks, but you know, it's shout outs to Capcom's poor porting. For people who think it's Sony's fault.
PS3 Marvel is a lot harder than PS3 AE in a sense, because Marvel you need perfect execution to put your character where you want it.
All right.
Okay.
So here we go. That wraps up the training room for today.
If you guys have additional questions, you know, you can post them in the chat or whatnot, and we can get to him. Maybe if we have extra time at the end, we can get to him, or we'll definitely get to him next week. Because we do think that we want to answer as many questions as you guys have, because that's the whole point of us doing this. But
okay,
we're gonna end this episode tonight with our last segment of our show called
Mikey
Story Time with XSK Samurai.
Story Times with Samurai, brought to you guys by Marvelous Customs.
Yeah.
Marvelous Customs.
Check it out.
MarvelousCustoms.com, your #1 source for premium custom fight sticks, mods, repairs, wholesale modding components, and more. Check them out.
Yo, did you just get paid by Marvelous Customs to advertise that?
I think he did.
Maybe.
Like,
You did.
yes, we know this picture is kind of lame, but we didn't have time to come up with better artwork.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. But anyway,
It just says.
if you guys are new to this show, and you guys just walked in, I'm sorry, you guys missed discussions about matchup knowledge, how to pick a main character. Please, just follow our channel, watch the archive later. If you have any other questions, throw that out there. We'll try and answer in the next episode. So, anyways, this segment of the show is basically Mikey telling XSK Samurai telling stories of tournaments and adventures he's had just playing fighting games. So the floor is yours, buddy. You got any good ones today?
So a good story would be, I think Mike G posted the video of me popping off, right? Let me tell you the origins of this story.
Oh wait, the pop off.
Okay, so everybody go watch this video right now. I'm gonna post it again.
No.
Right,
Hold up. I'm gonna try and pull this up for the stream to see.
We're not watching it, man. Let them watch it.
No. We have to watch this.
Okay, the stream's gonna get to see it.
All right, so here we go.
Let's get that.
So embarrassing.
Oh boy. Too bad. Here it comes.
That's why you were standing there. Oh, it's gonna be big. Oh, it's barely alive. Oh, very close.
Spoiler: Mikey wins.
Wait for it.
Let's go.
Yo, okay. Hey.
You are dressed. I just want to say in that video, you are dressed like the lamest asshole ever.
I love that video so much.
Okay. You
blue sweater of yours.
You can after you.
Put the graphic back up. Put the graphic back up.
Oh, my bad, guys. Okay.
First of all, it was cold. Okay, it was cold.
Okay.
It was cold.
Honestly, okay, I've mentioned this before. When that tournament happened, that's when I first started coming around, and I didn't really know Mikey that well. I was happy that he won because he was from Fresno, but I just kind of looked at him like, you just yelled out Fresno. That's fucking lame. I don't know. I was like, that's fucking lame. I was like, you could have definitely popped off some other way, and he's just like, Fresno. I was hella excited that you won, but I was thinking, damn, you could have fucking said something else. But anyways, I want to hear the story. This is your segment.
Right.
Go.
The origin.
The origin of this story.
So pretty much, I had to play Andy OCR at the very in winners brackets. It was like my second match or something like that. He bought me really hard. Like it was 2-0 so fast. I think the match lasted like 4 minutes, and I was like, dang, I don't know matchup at all. And so the matches progressed, and I guess we had to play each other again. And he came to talk to me. He said, "Hey, if you want to talk to them and see if you can play, if we can switch up the brackets, that'd be kind of cool, so that we don't have to play each other again." And in my head, I think that's what he said. I can't remember, but in my head, I was thinking, does this guy just punk me right now? He pretty much said, hey, I can beat you, so you should probably play somebody else. That's what I thought in my head. He probably didn't think that, but I took it that way, and I was like, no, I want to play you. And then I ended up having to play him, and obviously I won, but it was a lot closer than the past match. And I really enjoy when I lose to somebody, and I get to play him again. I want to give him a better fight. and I want them to see that I've improved the last time that we played. Like, another story would be Tatsu. I think they're friends. He played Vega. When I first played him, he perfed me. It was so bad, like I couldn't do anything. I think after that, he never beat me after that. Even I think I beat him at SCR or NCR, I forget. Evo and then the tournament that you guys just saw right there. So it felt really good to say, okay, I can beat him now, and that I have his number in a sense.
So you basically own him now? No, I don't want to put it that way, but you
does he even play anymore?
I don't even know, but ever since that, like when you played him, even like after that, you had his number, so to speak, then, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of trouble against me. He's beating other Ryu players. He's beating Alex Valle as well.
Mikey buried Andy OCR, buried his career.
Yes, I have his number. I'm gonna call him for a second. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what he said. Like.
Oh, man.
And I still ask off topic, but still tournament questions.
Sure, throw them out there. But we'll try and get to them after this. All right, Mikey, do you have any other stories that are interesting? I mean, I know last week.
How about this story? How I bought Mikey?
God.
How I bought Mikey in the first attempt?
I know.
Whoa, okay.
I know what you're gonna say.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
Javier can attest for this.
I'm
Maichi
sorry,
says,
guys.
"Hey, let's
Can't hear
no,
you.
no, no."
My Skype's cutting out.
Ever since this happened, Javier has decided to stay out of it.
Maichi goes, you will not beat my Balrog with Fuerte. And I go, first or 10 right now.
Because Mikey was like hella filling himself with Fuerte that day for some reason. I'm like, you'll never beat me. You can't beat me.
And so we play, right? And this guy pulls every single trick out of his freaking little notepad and tries to beat me, right? It comes down to 9-9.
Oh.
I beat him.
Bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
I beat him 9-10.
Okay, look, this is what happened. I beat him 10-9, and he will not admit it. See, the thing is, Javier knows the truth, but he will never say it for some reason.
Javier, tell us the truth right now, in front of these people, in front of these streams. Who won?
You both lost.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if he challenged me, I won.
All I know is I beat him, and like he could tell everyone that he won, but inside he knows he lost to me.
Hey, you know, hey, fun fact though, since we're on the topic of like Mike G and Mikey playing. Hey, you remember before Mike G went to Korea and he started to learn Kami, and we all played random select against his Kami?
That was the best night ever.
That was the best night ever.
My first day with Kami, and you guys were all feeling yourselves. You guys acted like you were world beaters or something. Huh? I was like, wow, congratulations on beating up my.
Wait.
Kami.
Highlight for me.
No, I
random
when
select. Okay, go ahead, Mikey. I'll let you.
When Jard random selected again, and he did, I think, Ultra on reaction.
No, I did
popped
Super.
off so hard.
I did Super
you
then
Super,
Ultra.
yeah.
Super then Ultra.
for the win. Mike G was so happy. Like, why are you popping off? That's not even. This isn't my like day 2 Kami.
That's what you get for bringing a new character. That's what you get for
Exactly.
Oh man. Okay. Well, Mikey, do you have any other stories? Because we have a question.
We'll take the question for now. Let's see.
Okay.
What is it?
For a new player that wants to become tournament competitive, what is your stance on modding select button? And would you suggest a new player to immediately mod the select button?
What?
Is that to be able to plink like?
Yeah, in order to blink. If you really want to go all out, yes, do it. If you just want to win the game first, you don't have to do it. It's not that important, in a sense. But if you really want to go out and be the most competitive person out there, you're gonna need that. I pretty much need it right now.
Okay.
Oh, that's another story.
Yeah.
When I saw
Can we have a limit on the Mikey stories?
We're gonna run out of Mikey stories. We might have to just change the story time with
FGC Talk.
With FGC Talk. Yeah, we're gonna have to turn
Story time with Scythe.
Yeah. God.
You don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
I still
Or actually, maybe you do.
I still want Rob to do a "What Makes Me Salty" segment.
Hey, real talk. Like the viewers probably don't know, but we have a local player, Rob, and Mike G and I both agree. Rob's salt is best salt. It is best salt.
That's all.
It is. He's the best. He's the best salty person in Fresno.
He's the best drunk person as well.
I can honestly say I have not been around that.
I remember at NCR when he busted the Huajai.
Oh man, he doesn't get salty anymore though. So let's see. Another question. Would you answer the age-long question? From what you know now, which control peripheral would give you the best chance to win? Pad, joystick, or hitbox? Easy answer for me. It depends on what you. It depends.
Personal preference.
Personal preference.
Yeah, Ryan does get salty.
Yeah, Brian is probably the saltiest man in Fresno now. When it comes to playing fighting games.
It's because he's a white man.
Hey.
Jard, before we end the show, can we? Fernando had a question that he posted on our Facebook page.
Oh, I forgot questions that were posted earlier. But while we pull those up, Mikey, we're gonna have to probably eventually you're gonna run out of stories. So we're gonna have to name this segment "Story Time with FGC Talk" instead of "Story Time with Mikey."
So that means we all need a character like that.
That's fine. But here, I had some good stories to talk. Last week I had you busting up Mike. The whole Mikey made me miss the Senior Taxi Chris G match. I'm still salty about that to this day. he freaking, oh my god. He to this day I'm still mad because he screwed me out of 2 matches. I was supposed to play Momochi and he's like, "Nah, man, let me play first." And he freaking didn't play Momochi. Then I missed out on freaking Senior Taxi. But anyways, okay, so we had a couple questions. All right, so Fernando had a question. How about non-projectile characters against projectile characters? Worst matchups possible, and what options you have if you ever come across these characters. So let's take it this way. If you're playing a character that is a non-projectile character, and you're playing and your opponent can throw projectiles, what are your options? What is your game plan? So
that's
Bison versus Guile.
I always had trouble Balrog versus Guile.
That's a hard matchup, but you already know. L2P said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you walked forward.
L2P basically told me pick a different character. He was like, pick Blanca or someone.
There are some tricks to playing the matchup. You have to play super lane, like Bison versus Guile, or spend life to get into the corner. There's a lot of little tricks, but it's all if you can persevere through the matchup in general. If you just do not want to see this matchup at all ever, like Honda versus Ryu, just pick another character. If you really want to stick it out and try to learn the matchup, go for it. But a person with fireballs, obviously you want to throw fireballs. That is something that it cannot be taught. Throwing fireballs, that's another story with John Choi, Jesus Christ. If you're not a fireball character, know how to move with that character. Like for example, Buki versus I think Geef, they all have different walk speeds and different dashes. Learn how to maneuver through the map, not the map, but on the screen, and learn how to use your normals. That's pretty much it.
Yo, shout outs to Aqua Silk.
Aqua Silk.
Aqua Silk.
Aqua Silk defending the Russian skies.
That reminds me.
One of the most entertaining one of the most entertaining streamers on Twitch. I may add.
The most electrifying man.
Wait, Aqua Silk, tell us how the matchup with Jerry is. How's that matchup? Is it for Geef? Does Geef win?
I'm just wondering if Aqua Silk is gonna love having 2 ultras for Zangief.
Oh god.
Doesn't he still hate using Ultra 1?
Jerry blows up Geef. that's like 7-3 Jerry. Damn.
That bad?
That's pretty bad.
Alright.
Damn. I didn't use Ultra 1 at all. Ultra 2 is just too high, man. It's just
a reminder, there's a couple more videos of Aqua Silk and Chris who they're talking about dropping the soap and something like that. It's hilarious. Check that out.
Oh, here we go.
That is godlike. Like that when they streamed the other day, that was godlike. I watched it. That was godlike, I must say. Let's see. Question: in an interview with Daigo, he said he had to change his fireball technique because people were listening to his buttons. Would you suggest a new player to learn the art of listening to buttons, as is rumored that Infiltration and Tokido do to give themselves that extra edge? I personally think that listening to buttons is bad.
Same here.
I'm not a top player or anything, but my preferences from playing in tournaments and stuff, I honestly think that listening to buttons is really, really bad.
I agree with that.
I think it's kind of overrated, to be honest.
I always play with headphones on when I'm playing in a tournament match, so that just goes out the window for me.
No. I have more stories.
Damn it, we don't have...
Okay.
but go on.
Okay, last story.
Okay, Mikey, you get one last
We're gonna
story.
run out of stories.
No, then we just change the segment from story time with XSK to story time with something else.
It's a quick story.
Okay, quick story. Last one, stream.
It involves Mike G at Evo.
Oh God! Oh yes! Yo, this story is godlike. Yo.
I hate you guys. I forgot about this.
Okay, go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
So Mike G is playing. I'm like, oh shoot. Who does she play? She plays Honda. Alright, so Mike G's gonna play, a chick who plays Honda. I'm like, hey Jared, I bet you $1 that he's gonna lose. I'm just messing around, right? And he goes,
God.
the Honda player starts bopping him so hard. I was like,
no, and then this is before. After I said, okay, I'll take that bet. This is before he told me after the first round when she bopped him. Oh, she plays ST. She's really good. I'm like, fuck! This guy's gonna get mollywopped.
So I felt so bad. I said, hey, the bet's off because I wanted to for Mike G. And Mike G gets up. He goes, did you just bet against me? I go, no.
No, like that. The other thing that made me salty at that Evo was because I was talking about wearing headphones, answering Living's question, and not listening to button presses. When I was playing the best Able in the world. And
oh my god!
And we're in the Caesar's Palace, or we're in the Caesar's Palace ballroom. Thousands of people, matches playing is so loud. I have headphones on, full volume, so I can concentrate on the game. And these guys are standing right behind me, laughing so hard that I could hear them through all of that noise, and I can't even concentrate on the game because they're laughing so hard at everything that happens.
Because you played so funny, dude.
I hated you guys so much that time. That match, I hated you guys so much. Like, I did not want to talk to you guys.
All I'm gonna say is, if you
like
lost,
any other night.
if you lost that, I would have gave you so much crap for the rest of Evo. That guy did not use step kick once.
Yeah.
If you lost to an Able that did not step kick, you deserved to get mollywopped.
Well, remember, I think halfway through the second game, I decided that I wanted to kill him using just throws because every time he threw, he'd always like hit his stick and look down, and you guys would laugh even more. And I'm like, God.
No, I felt kind of bad because Mikey and I were standing right behind that. Right behind you guys playing, and Mikey and I just started busting up laughing because when you threw him and like he couldn't tech, oh God, Mikey and I died. We were dying. Like, oh man, that was so good. It was so.
But yeah, to go back to the question, it's probably better not to listen to buttons at the very beginning. I grew up in I didn't grow up. I got better in a tournament environment. I didn't have an arcade scene. I know Shen, he presses his buttons really quietly because he had to play side by side. I didn't have any chance to play head to head. But when I played head to head, I felt like I was more into the game, more involved in the game, in terms of sound, in terms of awareness, in terms of spacing. But when I'm playing side by side, sometimes when they press their buttons too loud, it influences my game a little bit. So I myself take advantage of listening to buttons as well. But there are times where, like, if I'm playing against John Troy, I try not to at all because he knows that I'm listening to buttons. That's where the outside of the game comes into play. So it's a lot of things.
And there's a silent buttons now too, so you gotta watch out.
Yeah, actually, I like the silent buttons a lot. I feel like when I'm playing Mario next to...
Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
You like the silent buttons, but I let you borrow my 8-arc stick with silent buttons. You said my stick sucks. Like...
Your stick doesn't have silent buttons.
Yes, it does. My 8-arc
The
stick?
8-arc?
Yes.
Was that your ADARC that I used?
Maybe it was somebody else's. My ADARC has silent sandwalls. But anyways.
I like that. I like this silent buttons. They're fine.
Okay.
I hate your stick because sometimes it gets stuck.
I don't know.
That's it.
Okay.
All right. That's it's time to wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up. I mean, we've been going on, but yeah. So basically, that's our show, guys. Every week we do this every Saturday. So we we try and come up with new topics every week. Trying to help out the FGC. Any questions? So if you guys have any questions in the future you want to ask, or any topics that you guys think we might want to cover, let us know. You guys see our Twitter handles and stuff on the screen. You guys can follow the channel and things like that.
The video will be uploaded to the YouTube channel if you miss it.
Yep, the video.
Shout out to Aqua Silk.
Yeah, shout out to Aqua Silk. Thank you for checking out the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We love you.
we're trying to just when we started this was an idea I had back a couple months ago, and I wanted to just I'm not a top player or anything, but I wanted to give back to the community because I've made a lot of friends in this. I had a lot of fun, so I wanted to give back to this and do the best I can to grow the community and educate players because this scene is seen in a bad light. So yeah. Anyways.
So hope some of you guys learned something.
Yeah, hope you guys learned some stuff. If you guys, have any more questions, let us know. We'll be back here next week, and that's.
Hold on, Mike G, plug it in. Mike G, plug it in.
Plug what in?
Our sponsor?
Marvelous Customs.
All right, yes, and as always, our show is brought to you by MarvelousCustoms.com. Sponsoring our own XSK Samurai, MC XSK Samurai. Your number one
And
source
by
for premium
Jack in a Box.
custom fight sticks, mods, repairs, wholesale modding components, and more. Visit MarvelousCustoms.com.
And buy Jack in a Box. Be sure to try Jack's new Munchies meal. Available only after 9 p.m.
I see.
Shout out.
Oh man, I seriously thought you were gonna shout out to Mike G Customs too. Oh man. Anyway.
No, yeah, shout out to Mike G Customs. Mike G Customs. That's next week's story. I'll tell you Mike G's Customs next week's story.
Mike G's Custom sucks, man. They screwed up my order.
Okay, guys. All right. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, and I think should I set these guys free?
We have to.
Free.
All right.
See you guys.
Yep, man. We're gonna set you free.
Okay.
Adios.
Adios, guys.
You guys, thank you for watching.
Yep.
Put the cookie down! Now!